and today I am here to discuss episode 9 of campaign 3 of Critical Role. And honestly, I didn't realize how much I missed Critical Role until I started watching the new episode. Like, I feel like it was only, 3 weeks, so it wasn't like a big gap to wait, but I just feel like it's one of those things, like, to get myself through waiting for them, I have to get rid of all thoughts, expel them all about how much I love the show, or else I'll just be thinking and missing it the whole time. So I'm like, don't think about Critical Role the whole time, and then when it comes back, it's like, wait, I missed this. And I really did miss it, and it ended on such a good cliffhanger too. I honestly was like, wait, I forgot when they started and Fern was immediately in trouble. Like, I was like, oh gosh. And I just had my fingers crossed that Ashley remembered whatever the plan was that she had mentioned at the end of the episode in 2021 when she was like, I have a plan, I think. I was like, please girl, remember it. And honestly, I will say it didn't go badly. It actually went pretty much as well as you could hope, and it just went, it's such a Fern way for things to happen, you know, for it to get just to the cusp of going really bad and her messaging Imogen that she thinks she's gonna die, and then as they're trying to get in and rescue her, that's when she turns it all around by charming the person and just being like, so what's up, and getting the information they needed and making a new friend in the progress. Like, I love Fern so freaking much, and I feel like that whole scene, that whole, honestly, escapade, I guess is how the best way to call it, it encapsulated her character perfectly of just, I feel like she doesn't have a plan, and yet somehow it always works out for her, and I love that. I love the chaos that is Fern, I've said many, many times, and she got the information, which I was so proud of her for, because it was like a solo kind of mission. It went so sideways, and she still was able to get the information and make a new friend. I mean, I don't know how kindly he'll take to her once the charm wears off and he realizes he's been charmed, but for now, she has a really nice friend that was really excited to meet her and talk to her, and I just think it was really, really sweet. And that was kind of the theme of the episode, was Fern making friends and just being her amazing Fern self, because when they went to the bar and she ate the meal that Pretty made and he came out and was so appreciative, like, I just love that one, Fern thought of that, but also Fern was so genuine and like she really truly did love the meal. And I think that's what's so amazing about her is, yes, like, she'll pickpocket things and she'll like shiny things, but she's also, she just feels so much and she's so genuine with all of the stuff that she says and does, that I think it's just amazing to watch. And like, the whole scene with Pretty was so cute. I really, really hope they're able to make it to the date next week with all three of them, because he was so excited, and I feel like if they break his little heart, I'm gonna be so sad, but I just don't know if they'll remember. And then FCG, or should I say Sam, because I'm mad at Sam, he was trying to cause trouble and be like, you know, maybe we should just skip the date, like, it's not all that important. And I'm like, no, Pretty is excited, and Pretty needs to have his date with these three lovely ladies, and the woman who complimented his, like, cooking for what seems like the first time ever, like, when he started, like, tearing up when she was complimenting and saying it's the best meal she ever had, and she was licking the plate clean, and he was just like, thank you so much. Like, that's just, the NPCs this season are so wholesome, I feel like. Like, they had him, and then they had that random guard at the end who was just so nice, and like giving them one-word answers, but was just so nice about it, and like so not annoyed or anything, and just like, yeah, I work here, yeah, I can't tell you what that is, and wanted like a coin from Chet, and he was like, yeah, I'll take that, sure. Like, just so sweet and wholesome, and I love them this season. Like, I just don't want anything bad to happen to them, and it's just really, really sweet to just see, like, I just like, you know, I feel like sometimes you think like every guard that's working, every person that's protecting this thing that we have to get into is bad, and it's nice to be reminded that, like, they have lives and like wants and goals, and sometimes it's just literally a job for them and they don't care that much. And, you know, like, I feel like that was the whole guy at the end that was working the desk, like, that was just the poor man's job, and they were causing him so much stress. I mean, he went home thinking he basically killed a robot, basically, and made it so he'll never ever be the same, and that's just so stressful, especially considering he was pretty nice, all intents and purposes. Like, you can't just let people in that you randomly don't know, and we've also mentioned many times before, but this is a clusterfuck of a group. You've got Ashton, you've got Imogen with her purple hair, you've got Laudna, who's just a whole ass thing, you've got Chetney, who's just so angry and ready to fight at any minute. You've got Dorian, who's blue. Orm, who seems to be the most level-headed, but is also 3 feet tall. You've got Fern, who's literally a fawn. And then you've got a robot. Like, I just feel like just them rolling up, literally, would throw someone off so bad. And they just constantly were trying to get into places, get information, and they're just not a stealthy bunch. I'm so glad that they have Chetney now, because I know we were saying like, oh, it seems like maybe they don't really need a rogue. Like, they were rolling pretty good for like getting into places and stealth, and Ashton could just hit stuff with their hammer if they really needed to. But like, seeing now, it reminds you how good a rogue really is at what a rogue does with all the rolls that Travis was getting. And again, he's rolling very, very well. But on top of that, it's like he has huge modifiers to everything. So it's like getting a 26 to sneak in or a 25 to break a lock is like going to have a much higher success and outcome than like their kind of 19s and 17s, which again were good, but it's just like that's what a rogue does. It's like you could have someone who's not a fighter but fights and does really good, but then when you bring in an actual fighter, that's going to show you like, oh, we're going to take this to the next level. And I love him with my whole heart. I feel like this character, I don't know if it's going to be Travis's forever character. I kind of think it is, but I see both sides of the argument where people are like, no, he's going through all his old one-shot characters and then his one's going to come like in the end. Because I feel like it's true that like people do join D&D campaigns after, like their characters don't come in right away. And I feel like maybe he truly does want a permanent character that's not going to come until like episode 50 or episode 20 or something like that. And this is just to sustain him till then. But on the other hand, I love Chetney. And he is their level. He is a rogue, which the party does need. And I feel like he doesn't have a lot of like super connections that would take him away from the party. Like, I feel like he would want to stay. They definitely need him. He's a super big asset. But I just love him as a character because I feel like he was designed intentionally so Travis could go batshit crazy. Like, Travis was so fed up with being the level-headed one with Ford and getting crapped on for being like, I want to press a button, but I know Ford wouldn't want to press a button. I want to go down this thing that says don't go down, but I know Ford wouldn't. And I feel like this is his way of being like, no, I'm doing it. Like, Chetney was like, there was no hesitation in his voice when he opened that bookcase and was like, I'm going down alone. Like, he was like, this is my moment. And then everyone was like, no, no, no. And Travis was like, oh, should I? And they're like, no, do what you want. Like, you got to do it. And he was like, yeah. I just feel like that's Chetney is just like, poke a bear, stab a bear, see what happens, and then run away. It's like, I never thought of it, but Travis is kind of like, if he wants to be that poke the button, press the button kind of guy, a rogue is perfect for him because then he can hide or he can stealth into places and it's not so obvious and doesn't have as bad a chance of going sideways. I say as bad because we did see how it went sideways at the end of this episode, but like the action scene in my brain of this little old man dressed in just the cutest little clothes, breaking out through a stained glass window, turning around and throwing a tomato at where he came from. Not to hit anyone, just as like a warning sign and a distraction. Travis Willingham, that image will forever live in my brain, and I thank you so, so much for it because he is just a chaos of a creature. And I say that as a group of, you know, just really chaotic people. Like, we've got Lana, we've got Fern, we've got Ashton, we've got FCG, and somehow Chetney came in and said, hold my little hat, I'm going in there. And I love him for it. I also noticed he was being a little bit more cute and nice to Dorian. I feel like he's just a very grumpy man, but I also love that, like, Travis uses him to mess with the other characters. Like, the whole thing about how this guy they're looking for, there's gotta be more to the story, right? About why he wants to find him, because I feel like any sane person, the more like higher up you have to go with this. Like, when they found out that the Nightmare King is involved in this, I know they haven't had a chance to react to that yet, but I just feel like this is too much for one dude that you just casually met as just an acquaintance. And I know we explained like, oh, it's nice when someone like takes an interest in you and really believes in you for the first time in a long time, but I truly feel like there has to be more to this, because I think FCG put it great when he was like, so we're gonna break a wolf man out of an ivory tower so he can get you a recommendation to be a master craftsman. Like, it just doesn't line up. And I feel like any sane person, yeah, would be like, wait, this is too, like, I'm just gonna leave it, that's fine. And I'm like, how far are they gonna take this? Because they're not even that high a level to, like, be dealing with someone called the Nightmare King. That's not good. My ears are peaked. And also, this guy who apparently turns into a wolf and is, like, known as, like, the Wolf Man or the Beast Man or whatever, but, like, Chetney didn't know anything about this, but is, like, it's just very suspicious to me. But I do like how he tends to, like, play around with it, like, when Imogen rolled, like, insight check, he rolled a deception and was like, yeah, I'm lying, you never know. Like, I just feel like I don't know, and I want to know, because it's like, what are you hiding, little man? I want to know so bad, like, why are you so invested in this? And people are saying that Travis does want to turn his character into a werewolf, which I think would be so funny. I didn't watch I know there's a werewolf one-shot that Critical Role did. I never watched it, though, so I don't, or did I watch it, actually, now that I think about it? I think I did watch it, because that's the one where Sam and Travis were twin brothers. Okay, so I did watch it, but I watched it a while ago. But, like, I want werewolves in this campaign. That would be so fun and so cool. And, like, to already get it, like, in episode 10 or something, like, to be fighting a werewolf, I think would set such a cool tone. The first big bad they had that I remember in campaign 2 was a giant frog toad thing. And that was amazing, but a werewolf would definitely be, like, a good way to match that, because that toad fight was another level. So I'm just super excited. I have, like, no theories right now other than that Chetney is definitely hiding something. I feel like I want to know. Like, I'm like, why are you so obsessed with finding this guy? It doesn't make sense for, like, what you get out of it, how high up this goes. And I just feel like, I'm like, are they gonna pursue it all the way, or is they gonna get it to a point where they're like, we have to table this until we're stronger and a higher level and have, like, more spells, because this goes all the way to the top, and it feels like it might be, even if they do find this guy and get him out, they're not going to be able to stay in the city afterwards, because they're going to have a bounty on their head now. So just a lot of excitement and a lot of, like, oh, I love it. And I love getting to see Travis back at the table and playing, and how he's just chaotic. Like, I think because he has to reel them in a lot, we don't give Travis credit for when he goes crazy, how much he's like, this is specifically to Matt. Like, he has a Matt in him, you know, where it's like, I'm gonna go chaotic, but I'm gonna do it in a way that specifically I know fucks with your head. And I love it. And it's just, it's awesome to see. So yeah, if you have seen this episode, please feel free to leave your thoughts about it down in the comments. Hopefully next episode we get to see the date with Pretty. I really hope they don't stand him up. But yeah, I loved it. So yeah, leave any theories and thoughts you have down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!